Hi, I'm Erin Kennedy with the Retirement Panel, where we seek to educate retirees and pre-retirees to help them create a comprehensive plan to make sure that they have a happy and successful retirement. I have a really special guest with us today. I would like to welcome George Chambers. George, how are you?
Doing well. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. I'm glad you're here. We have a lot to talk about. I know that you're really passionate about what you do, and I just want to start, with a big overarching question. What are the key areas that pre-retirees and retirees should consider when they are building out that successful retirement plan?
What we find a lot of times working with our clients is they come in with the absence of a plan. They come in, it's sort of like the ostrich head in the sand. They say retire, and they pop up and go, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
What we asked our clients to do is kind of do some basic homework. What kind of income do they have? What kind of expenses do they have? Let's find out where their trusts and their wills are. Let's make sure their beneficiaries are correct. And what we find when we do all that is we get a complete look at the whole package, if you will, or their entire retirement window, the opportunity of what they're trying to accomplish. And we then say, where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? Do you see yourself running out of money? We ask them a lot of questions that help them to think. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, our goal is to kind of guide them to the path of redefining their retirement. Mm-hmm. What we find most times is that people are trying to redefine it for them, and it's their plan, not ours. So we help them develop that plan.
Right, and you and I were talking a little bit about this before, about redefining your retirement, that you really are giving a personalized plan to
Right.
everybody who comes into your office.
Yes, we are. And we take our time with that. And so we actually have them do their homework. We actually have them bring it back in. And part of that is to help them think it through. Right. Because what happens sometimes is, as we all know, is that we want it now in this world that we live in. Yep. And we don't give it to them that way. We make sure that they have a chance to think it through. And the best part about this, and the one thing I always say, is that with our clients that become our clients, is that we become a friend and a confidant to them, so that they understand that I'm going to be there no matter what, mm-hmm. and I'm there 24 hours a day for them. Mm-hmm.
Now, the other thing that's really an important consideration with retirement, taxes, right? So how do you make sure that your clients are investing tax efficiently?
Well, because we also have a tax practice within our firm, our tax advisors will work with our clients to make sure that when we're looking at taking withdrawals from accounts, that we're looking at to see which ones are the best tax advantage accounts to take from. But also with you, if you only have IRAs, well, then you might be one of the lucky ones where you put your money away and you have to now think about, how do I prepare for the future? Maybe with a Roth ladder rollovers, maybe with converting it to life insurance, and then you can help to prepare later in life. It just all depends on each individual client that we work with and what their circumstances are that allows them to have that option.
So you also work with all of your clients in developing a retirement income plan. So how can our viewers calculate and improve that retirement income gap?
Social Security planning and analysis is one of the ways that we start with our clients. So when we do an interview with a client that's not taking Social Security yet, we want to do a maximizing their Social Security benefit, so we get a report that lets us know what will happen down the road.
Right.
The second part of that is that if we find deficits, for example, I have a pension, and when I pass away, my pension is only going to provide 50% to my spouse. Where's that 50% coming from? With Social Security, who's going to get the maximum payment, so that we're not trying to make one person that's never going to reach that to exceed it. We let them take that early. There's so many different pieces to that puzzle that it's almost hard to pinpoint on one area. But I will tell you though, when we work with the clients in that, trying to understand that, it's either income planning with indexed annuities that allow for income, accumulation planning because we want to accumulate now so that later we can provide income down the road, Roth conversions, things like that that help to eliminate tax burdens, then therefore also keeping up with cost of inflation, allowing them to have an income for a lifetime.
Right, so important, especially talking about inflation now, right?
Oh, yes.
So you've touched on this really quickly, but let's just drill down. What are the two financial products that are truly tax-free, and how do you help people invest in them?
Well, the first one that's tax-free is life insurance. Yeah. And you can do a lot of things with life insurance, but you can set up a life insurance policy that allows you to then later on take out tax-free benefit like loans against the policy. That's the first one. Mm-hmm. The second one, which is more commonly used with a lot of the older clients just because of age and also sometimes health, is Roth conversions. Mm-hmm. And what you do is you take your IRA and you convert when you're earning less income, and you convert that to a Roth. And then as they go to spend that money later, that money comes out tax-free to them. Mm-hmm. So those are the two simple ways that we look at this.
Simple, but very important.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So is it possible to generate tax-advantaged or even tax-free income during retirement with the proper planning? And when should pre-retirees start thinking about making that plan?
I like the question with the word pre-retirees
Yeah.
because I spoke with a client that's 59. He says, I think I'm too young to start thinking about retirement. My average client age is 55.
Yeah.
Because what happens, we want to get them in and talking about this at a younger age, because when you think about retiring and how do I get to my pre-retirement, which is 59 and a half, and the reason why 59 and a half is kind of that pre-retirement is because that's when you have first access to your 401k to potentially make a change to make it better. Because really when you have a 401k or an IRA, you've made a relationship with the government that says, I plan to pay taxes on this later in life. What our goal is to help mitigate or lower the taxes. Because we have a tax practice, we can help clients do that. The second part is because when you help that and you take a look at the converting over time, and I always like when you can have a Roth conversion that can take place over a period of time opposed to having to do it all at once, because sometimes it doesn't make sense. So when you're younger, it's definitely making far more sense to look at conversions or looking at life insurance. As you get a little bit older in the 60s and the 70s, then you're trying to look at how do I convert this Roth? Is anybody still working? Are we going to cause a taxable event? Are we going to cause Social Security to be taxed anymore? So there's a lot of thought that goes along with it. But I would tell you the two things that we talked about before is Roth conversions and life insurance. And definitely starting out earlier is the way to look at that to see if that even works for you.
A lot of people have been wondering if the 60-40 portfolio is relevant anymore. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about any successful bond replacement strategies.
Perfect. You know, what we find with our clients when we're working with them is that when they come in, they have their bonds that aren't really performing that well right now for them, or their portfolio is really not doing what they want to do. They're more at risk than what they really want. Because I'll tell you this, when we go back a few years back to 2008 and 30, 40, 50% of their account portfolio went down, and they had to wait for it to come back.
Right.
When you're taking RMDs at 72 years old, at that time 70 and a half, and you're taking money out of your account at the exact same time, you're losing value to your account that you can't put back. And so with a lot of our clients, when we talk about a bond replacement strategy, they definitely make sense. It definitely works. And I use something called the rule of 100. Most of the clients that we're talking about this are in the 70s. So, take 100, you subtract 70, 30% of your money should be in some type of bond replacement strategy. What are they? Well, what we find that works best is a fixed index annuity, either with accumulation in mind or with income in mind. And that's what we find works best in that scenario. It just all depends on the age of the client and what makes sense to them, because some might want to put more in one and some might want to put less. We use that as a guide to help them understand better what that bond replacement should be.
Yeah, that makes sense. I want to, talk a little bit more about you. And you mentioned earlier in this interview how, your clients have your cell phone number. They know they can reach you 24/7. It's clear that you're very passionate about what you do. Why did you decide to get into this?
Well, way back when, in 1999, my father, my brother-in-law, and 7 other people were in an airplane accident. They all passed away. And at that time, I wasn't in this industry. I wasn't doing this. I was actually helping my father. He was a surgeon and was helping him with his offices across the country and run them. And what I soon found out after dealing with this, my mom, my sister, my brother, and everyone else that was involved with this, that nobody knew from the financial side, nobody knew from the attorney side, nobody knew exactly what to do, but everyone wanted to be on their claim to fame 1 minute in the news saying, hey, I took care of Dr. Chambers. But when it came to take care of the family afterwards, there was just a big mess. Beneficiary forms were done incompletely. Documents weren't completed properly. The attorney never kept a copy of the documents. It just the list went on. And so I passionately got involved in this in about 2003, the business, on the side of helping other advisors understand the pitfall of what happens when something tragically happens. Right. Now, someone passing away is tragic in his own right, but in that type of situation. And so I decided to become an expert in that. And that's all I focused on. I wasn't thinking about being in this business. And then in 2006, I decided I would. And I started sitting on the other side of the desk and started helping one client at a time. Right. And since then, my phone, my cell phone, my office phone has always been available, because I will tell you this. My father passed away at 3 a.m. in the airplane accident. Life doesn't happen Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. My clients surely know that they can reach me at any time they want. They don't take advantage of it. None of them do. But they do know to call me if they have a question.
That is so special, George. Thank you.
Thank you.